Hello crocheters, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. This is Sylvia, and you are going to be so happy that you tuned in for this tutorial because you are going to learn how to make this gorgeous crochet star stitch. Isn't it beautiful? And as you saw from the little tidbit at the beginning, it's not difficult at all. This is a very versatile stitch. You can use it for many different types of projects, so make sure you stay tuned and see the reveal to see what I made with this. Now, you may or may not know that there are different variations with slight differences on how to create this star stitch, and some of them that are being used by some really big really great crochet channels out there are using a pattern that skews the stitches where they go slanted, like a very obvious slant, and it's not pretty. With this version of the stitch, with just a little bit of a variation, a little difference, you end up with this gorgeous result. So keep watching for the actual instructions and the reveal. The supplies you will need is a number 4 yarn. You can use pretty much any yarn. This one was a very popular, very inexpensive number 4, and it's a very basic yarn. The crochet hook is a 5mm. You'll need some scissors and a yarn needle, and the measuring tape might come in handy. So for an 18 by 18 pillow, which is a typical decorative pillow size, we're going to start with a chain of 70. So for the star stitch, for this pattern, you need to start with a multiple of 2. Now we're going to start in the second chain from the hook, not counting the loop on the hook. So there's the first chain, there's the second. So pull up a loop. We need 6 loops to be on the hook. So go into the next chain, pull up a loop, go into the next chain, pull up a loop. We've got 4 so far, 5, 6 loops on the hook. Now pull all the way through all 6 loops. Now make sure that you've got your hook pointed downward so that it doesn't get stuck while you're going through the loops. Okay, so grab your yarn, pull all the way through. Chain 1. That's your first star. However, going forward, we're going to work this differently. Okay, so now what we're going to do, well, first let me show you what we're going to do. Let me point out where we're entering the hook. So again, we're working for 6 loops on the hook. So first we're going to enter into the hole or the eye of the star. Then we'll enter into that last leg. You see all your little legs there? We're going to enter the hook into the last one. And then we're going to enter the hook into that chain that's already been worked. But we're going to work it again. That will give us 4 loops, and then in the next chain 5 loops, in the next chain 6 loops. Okay, so let's do that for real. Okay, so let's insert the hook into the hole, pull up a loop. Now insert the hook into that last leg, pull up a loop. Now insert the hook into that chain that's already been worked. There's 4 loops, there's 5, and there's 6. Pull through all 6, chain 1. So that's what you will repeat all the way down until we get to the end. Okay, so once again, enter into the hole for a loop. Enter into that first or the last leg. Whoops. enter into that open stitch that's already been worked, and then we need 2 more, so go into the next 2 chains. There's 5, there's 6 loops. Pull through all 6, chain 1. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that all the way down the line. When we get to the end, I'll show you how we do the last star. Isn't that beautiful? And it's not even difficult, is it? You just need to get used to where you're entering the hook. In the hole, in the leg, in the already worked stitch, and then in the next 2 chains. You would have worked all the way to the very last chain. Now to end the row, we're going to do a half double crochet into that same last chain that you've already worked. Half double. And chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to be working in half doubles for this row. So enter the first half double into the first stitch, now work 1 half double into that hole or the eye of the star, just 1. Now we're going to work 2 half doubles into each hole, 2 half doubles into each eye, all the way across. After you have entered your last 2 half double crochets into the last hole, we're going to do 1 last half double crochet into the 2 strands here at the end of the row, into that last stitch, a half double. That was one of your repeat rows. So this pattern has 2 repeat rows. That was one of them, the half double crochet row. Now chain 3 and turn. Now for this pattern, it actually does make a difference which way you turn. Normally, I say turning this way is the wrong way. My reasoning is always because when you turn this, watch the bottom, watch the bottom. See how it's twisting. So this is skewed now. However, well, let me show you what I consider is the right way. If you turn this way, watch the bottom, nothing is twisting. The whole row turns nice and straight. Okay, so that normally works. This is the first time I'm going to say to turn the wrong way. I know a lot of people are going to say, that's not the wrong way, that's the right way. Okay, turn this way, and here's the reason why. We're going to be working into those chains, the 2 bottom chains. Okay. If I had turned my typical way, if I turned this way, ooh, now it's really difficult to see where we're entering the hook. Okay, so now turn this way so you can see the chains very clearly. So now we're going to enter our hook into the second chain from the hook. There's the first, there's the second. Pull up a loop, and now there's the next chain of that 3 chain turn. Pull up a loop, Remember, we need 6. Now go into the next stitch. There's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and you know what to do here. Pull all the way through. Chain 1. Now you'll continue with your pattern where you enter into the hole, into the last leg, into the already worked stitch, and then into the next 2. 6 loops on the hook, pull all the way through, chain 1, and repeat all the way across the row. Now for the last star of the row, going to start it as usual, into the leg, into the already worked stitch, and now there's your last 2. There's your last stitch, and then into the turning chain. Five loops on the hook, 6 loops on the hook, pull through, chain 1, and now you're going to do a final half double crochet at the end of the row into the same stitch that you already worked, that last chain. Half double, chain 1, turn, and of course that was your other repeat row. Now you're going to do the half double crochet row. You enter your half double crochet into the first stitch, 1 half double into the first hole of the star, and then 2 half doubles into each hole, or whatever you prefer, 2 half doubles. So just go back and watch how you do this repeat row. Now here is your completed front panel. You would have worked for a total of 35 rows. Now do make sure that you are adjusting as needed. My pillow might be plumper than yours, or yours might be plumper than mine. So make sure that you place this on top of your pillow and make sure that it's fitting properly. For the back panel, you can choose to make the back panel the same as the front with the star stitches, or to simplify matters, you can do a back panel of all half double crochets, which is what I'm going to do. So for that, you would start with a chain of 60, then you're going to start your first half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So you skip the first 2 chains, double crochet in the next, double crochet in each all the way to the end for 58 half double crochets. Again, adjust as needed. At the end of the row, chain 2 and turn. Now you will work rows of half double crochet all the way to the end, starting in that first space, half double crochet, and then half double crochet in each stitch across. You are working under the 2 strand chains that are forming at the top. You are not going into the spaces between the half double crochets below. You're going into the space under the 2 strand chain. You'll enter your last half double crochet into the turning chain at the end of the row. There's your last chain. So you'll enter under those 2 strands. At the end of row 2, chain 2, turn, and repeat. So work as many rows as you need to match the length of the front panel. After both of your panels are ready, you're going to seam the sides, and you want right sides are on the inside, wrong sides are facing up, and you can just use a whip stitch with the yarn needle and length of yarn. Now, if you want to add a zipper, you actually can. I have another video out there. I will leave it up at the top, and I will leave it down below in the description box, the link for that. So if you want this to be removable, then you want to take care that the bottom seam remains open for the zipper. So then you would start from here, or wherever you want to start, to go around so that you leave the bottom open. If you are going to close all four sides, then it doesn't really matter what's the top and what's the bottom. You still might want to save this for last, even though the seam will not show, because you're using the same color yarn. It won't even show. But still, I would just leave the bottom for the last seam. So go ahead and attach your yarn. Just bring it through, knot it, and then just a regular old whip stitch. Go through 2 strands on each panel, from the back to the front. To the back again. And that's it. So just do this all the way around. And then you will, before you seam the last edge, you want to flip it right side out, insert the pillow, and then complete the last seam. Again, it's not going to show. You won't know that you were seaming it on the right side. Here is the completed crochet star stitch pillow cover, and it turned out even nicer than I expected. The texture is amazing. It's not too much, not too little. The star stitch is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to see if I can get in a little closer on the actual stitches so you can see how it looks. There we go. I think you can see that a little bit better. Just beautiful. I'm so glad I did this one. And I do encourage you to give me a thumbs up down below if you would. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this crochet stitch. If you've used it before, if you've never heard of it before. And of course, do come back for the next project. Thanks for watching.